No, it's just
Yeah, I've never seen
All
that.
right, next device.
I've never seen that.
So we're gonna be working with thermal imaging as well.
Oh, there we go.
You guys should be able to see me. I'm the red, orange, and yellow guy. If you were a bridal party, I'd be the hottest thing inside the picture. What we're looking for here are the blue and black spots. Those are the colder areas. Black is obviously the coldest. White is the hottest. Okay, so that's why I look red, orange, and white. So the blue and black spots, what we're looking for here is for those things to either move, take shape, or get colder. So we also have a blue dot that's bouncing around the screen. That blue dot is telling us the coldest point in the frame at that particular moment. So yeah, it's going to move around all over. That will be on your video tomorrow morning. Again, we'll do starts and stops because this hardware is great. This is a FLIR Pro. This is used by firemen. Like, this is the real deal. So the software for it sucks. So again, we're going to do starts and stops with it. But again, I'll kind of show you some more cheat sheets on how we're going to be able to use this as we kind of move along. So Quentin, this one's going to go to you. Now, you're going to keep that horizontal with the camera on your left. That's the wire side. Okay. And when I tell you, it's already recording, I like to do that so that way you have at least a little bit of an intro, everybody does, of where the blue dot is and how that works. Now, you also have a cheat sheet that we're going to use in real time, which is the bar on the right-hand side of your screen. It has the highest temperature and lowest temperature. That will not be on your video. It does not record that. I don't know why. I've tried the settings a million times. But when I tell you to stop the video, you want to kind of keep it, either pocket it or whatever, just kind of keep it warm. When we bring it out again, make sure it's in the exact same position before you hit the record button. Otherwise, YouTube flips it and it doesn't, you guys will have an ugly video and I got to give out his phone number. It's not a good deal.
Got it.
Okay, cool.
All right.
I want to go to Missouri.
Let's get into some spirit boxes. So spirit boxes are a way for us to communicate with the dead. We're going to be using two different types tonight. Who here is familiar with spirit boxes? I already see you nodding your head.
I heard it.
Okay.
Not Dybbuk.
No, we're not dealing with Dybbuk boxes. No. Again, we're keeping them a little bit stuff out
I got
elsewhere.
you. Okay.
So this is going to sweep through the FM radio stations at a very quick rate. In your TV shows and your YouTube videos, it's the white static.
Okay.
Are you asking about the Dybbuk box?
No, white noise.
Yeah.
I understand.
Mine are slowed down on purpose. This is going to sweep through all of our FM radio stations at a slow rate. I do that on purpose because you're not used to listening to white noise all night long. No. First thing, it's going to put you to sleep on top of the history I'm going to give you. So I have it slowed down because I want the radio chatter to come through.
Yeah.
The reason for that, it's a 50-50 shot if you can make out a DJ, a song lyric, or a commercial, little tidbits, words, phrases. I can probably tie it to the location, a person in history I'm talking about, or even something going on with one of us. So it happens all the time. This one will record the entire session. You're going to have an earbud in. So you're going to be the only one to hear it in real time. So I'm going to give you a set of earbuds that I don't want back. Earwax is gross. So, but you can control the volume up and down all night long. You will not be altering the recording, just so you know. So you can play with it if you want to turn it down to mute so you can hear the history portion of it. You can. If you want to keep it at a lower, it doesn't matter. Play with it all night long. But I'm going to set it up to record so that way we can actually get this guy moving.
When they have it in the other room.
Yeah, we used something similar to that. It was called a Phasma box that we used.
There's a million different types. I love these because even when I'm at a location, I can turn it on, put it on mute, and throw it in my bag or my pocket and listen to it.
Yeah, what we used was they gave us a tablet, and then we had big ass headphones we had to wear. The tablet was huge.
Yeah, that seems like a better option right there.
Yeah, that's definitely a lot more portable.
It's funny that you chose me because I'm clairaudient. I can hear things.
Perfect. Your volume button is here. It's a wheel. Okay.
Are you an empath?
Yeah.
And then your plug-in for the earbud that I'm going to give you is right there. So if you want to put your finger on it until I get you a set of earbuds.
That's awesome.
I
know you are too.
That would be kind of gross, though, right? Yum yum.
You look like a purple gal.
Yes.
Again, I buy them in bulk. I don't want them back.
What?
All right.
My hair is
We're going to use another type of spirit box that we don't have to listen to. So this one is going to work kind of like what the ones you see on TV that spit out the words. Only this one, they call it an ITC. So it's intra communications. How you doing, guys?
Hi, you want the graveyard tour?
That's not me.
It's not you.
No. So you're probably going to go. Is it with Bulldog?
I have no idea.
Is it the Death and Depravity?
I didn't.
No?
There's like 1,000 ghost tours.
We gotta call them.
Yeah, actually, if you go up to where those burning gas lamps are on your left, that's the street you want to look down. It'll be on your left-hand side.
Good night.
All right, so this one's going to spit out words from time to time, right? So, and then it's going to save all of those words to a list. This is my last tour. They had about 56 terms. 80% of this is bullshit. It doesn't mean anything. It's meant to be a game and a hoax. So it's the other 20%. You're going to get the full list back because sometimes things are pertinent to you and you just don't want to reveal it to the group, and that's perfectly fine. That's why I give you the whole list. I'm going to give you the whole list and highlight what I feel is relevant based on its location of where we were and the stories that I told. If there's other stories that will actually pop up, I will highlight those as well and give you the backlink to verify the information. So again, I'm not hiding anything. I'm not making shit up for you guys. I'm like, oh my God, the number 80. That kind of thing. So I'm not that guy. I'm not Zach Bagans. So
Wow,
with
he
that
did it.
said,
I saw Demon House. Okay.
I will come to you when I want to see the list. You're just going to hit that little white button. We've already got 2 words that say "come" and "visual." So
Okay.
obviously we're doing
So
a visual.
what else do I have to do?
We're
That's
just
it?
watch the words, and we're gonna talk more about that at the
And-
next location.
No, I mean, what are the lines about that?
So all of that is part of the aesthetic of the app.
What
Again,
does she have to hit like
What am I
after
to
this?
do? Just carry it?
Anything or no?
the words will pop up automatically.
Okay.
Do I have to hit anything?
No, he
So
said
when
no.
I come to
lost the
you,
volume button.
I will probably tap it for you
Probably
just so I
need
can
your-
take a
where's
look
your
at the
phone?
list to see if
Turn
anything is
that light
relevant.
on.
Okay.
And then you hit this guy. So you'll do it.
Okay.
You got it.
Okay.
Yep.
So I'll just
Can you
carry
hear?
that.
That's it.
Okay.
Nice
hear
and
some
easy.
of
I
the
try to make
static,
this
yeah.
as simple as possible.
Well,
But it's
good,
very,
because
very
I'm
low.
super computer illiterate. No, I
Stephanie?
can shop
Oh, yeah.
online.
You are my
Mhm.
multitasker.
Okay.
You are going to have the only device that does not record. I'm going to have to manually record your readings,
Okay.
along with anything that Angel hears on the Spirit Box that I'm going to have to manually record because when I spot check all of your work, I don't listen to and watch all of this. You're going to record probably 5 to 6 hours worth of data. I'm not going to cover all that. I'm only going to cover it for like 2 hours.
Okay.
That's why I take notes and I spot check everything. That way you guys can discover more for yourselves. That's why you get all the backlinks to look at the stories.
Cool.
So this device is called a Melmeter. It has 3 different functions. The first one is an EMF reader. So the top number, anything above 2.5 is what I want to know. That's usually the first indication on one of the blinky ones you normally see on TV because those are super sensitive. This one's just way more accurate. So cell phones,
EMS.
yeah, electromagnetic fields. So anything above 2.5. So I've seen this thing spike out at 198, which is very
Whoa.
dangerous. Yeah. The bottom number is temperature. So Quentin finds something on the camera, you and I can debunk it by the ambient temperature probe here at the top pretty quickly, or we can prove it pretty quickly.
Okay.
I love that thing. So the last thing that it has is it has a motion sensor. It's called a REM pod. So anything gets close to that antenna.
Oh
it's
yeah, I
gonna go
remember.
off.
We used REM pods before.
Okay, so we don't use this all the time just because it can be annoying in certain spaces, and there's certain areas we're going to go to that are going to be quiet spaces, just because of how close we are to hotels and so forth like that. When I'll show you more about how to operate it, but all you got to do is leave the flap open and focus on those red numbers for me.
Sweet.
All right.
My friend went to.
How do I turn this up again? Because I can't.
Went to Europe. We went to Paris and went to one of the churches there.
Okay.
And had pictures taken. And there was
You said it
orbs
is
all
cell
over the
phone
back of the
sensitive?
picture.
The camera that he has
So it is cell phone
actually will
sensitive?
capture a lot of orbs if
Or
they're out and
hold
about.
on.
No, I
tonight.
mean that
Is
was
it-
amazing.
is it-
Just
is it near-
When was that?
My phone is in this pocket.
Oh, so it's been a while. Okay, gotcha.
Been like 10 years ago.
Okay.
But she brought the pictures out and all the back.
No, I didn't hear what you said. If it was cell phone sensitive or
in
not.
this church.
It is.
It is.
I just
Wow.
heard
Like
I'm in a cage and I
150
never get answers.
Wow. I'm going to write that down, keep that in the back of your head. All right, so I want you to also know, I'm sorry to interrupt, but we have a lot to cover.
Go.
So I also have a voice recorder right here on my bag. You're going to get the full audio recording of every story I tell tonight on top of any kind of EVPs that are going to come through. I don't listen to the regular audio just because I already have the stories memorized. I don't need to hear them. If you guys do capture EVPs and you need me to check them out, you're all going to have my contact info, my email,
How do
and my
I
phone
know
number.
if it's an EVP on this?
So again,
How do I know on this that is?
on this particular device,
You won't.
80% of it is not going to mean anything. But there might be pieces of the story that are going to pop up. We're going to talk more about spirit boxes at the first stop. All right, so any concerns at this point? I think I've covered all the malevolent crap that most people ask about. So let's talk about why we start here.
On point. There we go.
This is Big John's Tavern behind me, place I all told you to meet me at. So, Big John was a football player for the 1947 New York Giants. You will always hear me slow down in a story when there's keywords for the 2 spirit boxes that we're working with. So, 1947, New York Giants. This was his bar. He used to sit in the back of the bar and tell the bartender of any of the cadets that came over from the Citadel if they were old enough to drink or not, because he knew them all. One night, 2 guys come in. He knew they weren't old enough to drink. He has the bartender throw them out. They leave pretty pissed off. They come back the next night. They try to steal the cash register from the front of the bar. Big John gets up, pissed off, slams his hand on the bar, and just starts pounding these guys into the floor, like just beating the hell out of them. A couple of gunshots go off. John gets hit in the neck, and the bullet lands in the wall. John gets up after being shot, goes back to the bar, and tells the bartender to get him another beer, get the 2 guys on the floor, and an ambulance, because he just beat the hell out of them. So, the irony here is that nobody died in the story, so what's haunting the place? Obviously, Big John is no longer with us, but his blood from that bullet is still in the wall of this building. Even if it's not here anymore after the renovation of the Big Johns we now know. I haven't been in because I don't drink.
I'm almost positive I just heard Big John in my ear.
I'm not surprised.
Offensive.
Am I supposed to be doing this while you're talking?
You can.
Okay.
You're pretty much the only person that has the permission to interrupt me because you're in the moment. Now, people that sit in the front of this bar tend to get a little queasy, nauseous, or headache. That's because the bullet hole was in the front, unless it's still there.
Quarterback?
Front.
Front. Offensive.
She heard quarterback. She's hearing quarterback. I did not. Now,
Oh, she read that offensive. Oh, I see. I'm sorry. I thought you said offensive.
no. I knew what she was doing.
Oh, I did not know. Okay.
So, that's your heated warning. You will be dealing with paranormal activity tonight. Fingers crossed. That's why you're here.
Yep.
However, I don't know how it's going to affect you. If anybody feels any of those symptoms that I've already mentioned, headache, nauseous, dizziness, I need to know immediately so we can move the whole group. What's that? Not for everybody. I mean, I won't say that people haven't passed out on this tour. I had to call an EMT just a few weeks ago. Like, it's happened.
Response.
So this is first before that. I won't be surprised.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about our own health, shall we? Quentin looks a little worried, like, what the hell did we sign up for? So, we had a big earthquake here in 1886. If you've taken any kind of tour here, you already knew that. Yep. This is allegedly where the first death occurred from that earthquake. The mantle you see in the middle of the building also wraps around the front of the building on the East Bay side. A piece of that broke off, hit somebody in the back of the head, and killed them. They say you could see his ghost in the middle of East Bay Street. I say allegedly a lot with that story because I don't have any proof. It's just a great segue so nobody's thinking about getting sick on the tour. All right, let's go ghost hunting. Do you have something else already?
It's saying a whole lot of stuff, so I'm like trying to listen. I'm ADHD, so I can't do both at the same time.
Yeah, so again, that's why most people will wear just one earbud, and then literally, if you have that, like you want to hear the history, you've got to turn it down. You're going to have to.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. Let's do it. Come on.
Are you going to talk while we're walking, or can I put these both in?
No, please don't.
Stop.
I want to dance with somebody. Follow me.
What's that red-ass red building that was talking about when we walked down the street?
About the terrible? Tell me.
Talking
The death?
Pretty major ghost stories that I've never seen any of this shit before.
Seen this one before. Well, not this, the whole thing.
No, but
Any ratings coming up on your EMF? Big number?
Not big, nothing big.
Okay.
It spiked a little bit right behind that building, but nothing huge.
Well, that's the parking meters are under, like the electrical lines are underneath the sidewalks. It will spike with those.
But it didn't go high.
Almost kind of debunk those things kind of ahead of time. So welcome to the big red barn lot. Normally when I have my groups of 10, even groups of 5 like yourselves, this is a practice area. The history here is really simple. Well, first off, you should know this is where we keep the horses for the carriage rides. In the summertime, you can definitely smell them. Cold kind of stifles it down a little bit. Now, the history here is really simple. It's a one-liner. This is where we held horses that delivered milk and eggs to the residents of Charleston. That's it. That's all I got. So let's talk about those spirit boxes again. We have 2 of them running. Well, first off, let me talk about cameras first, because there's 2 of them running. People do not like to be filmed. People do not like those cameras pointed at their vehicles. There's going to be certain spaces we're going to be in where there's going to be parked vehicles like this. You want to kind of keep it inconspicuous if you can. Like, you're perfect. Yours is a little bit harder to hide.
right, because you got.
But certain when people are like walking by or going to their cars, you're just going to drop it like you're just holding a crazy gadget. If you don't mind, please. I've been screamed at plenty of times. It's never fun.
It's okay.
All right, so spirit boxes. Let's get on those. You might want to turn yours down.
I'm trying to figure out down. Okay, got it.
All right, so spirit boxes, first off, this is not television. This is not, is somebody here? Like everybody wants to ask. Because you have a spirit box too, and you're going to be asking questions. That's a yes or no question. If somebody says
That's
no,
a no.
if somebody says no, that means somebody's here. Does it say no?
Absolutely.
Subject.
Oh.
No.
If somebody says no, that means somebody's here, right? So we're going to stay away from yes or no questions all night long. We're going to ask specifics. You guys want the proof? You're not going to get it out of a yes or no question. I promise and guarantee you that. I've done enough investigations outside of my tours to know that for certain. Now, in this location, we're going to spread out for just a few minutes, just because, I mean, we were kind of chatty over at the beginning, just so we can get used to the devices. But you're going to ask questions like, what color is the big red barn? Obviously, you know the answer.
Big red barn.
Yeah.
Big red.
Right there, honey.
Yeah, but what we're looking for is obviously you're looking for the color red and you're listening for the color red. However, the color red might not be in the vocabulary of whatever they're using. So words like heart, blood, fire truck, those are acceptable answers because those items are specifically red. So I would take that. What color is the big red barn? Heart. I'm good with that. However, most of the night, to actually verify the proof, I'm going to require 2 pieces of evidence to actually prove what's going on. For example, you get the word art on your word list.
Heart.
Art.
No. Art.
Art.
A-R-T.
It's not doing it.
No. I'm
No,
not,
he's
I
saying
It will
this
get
is
it.
no.
It won't necessarily do it, honey.
Yeah, slow down.
What is this?
So, bear with me. This is an example.
We're not there yet.
If you get the word art and you hear the number 40, Art Faircloth was number 40 on Big John's team. We were still close enough for his teammates to come through. Does that make sense?
Okay.
I won't accept just the word art
It's
or just the number
conjoined.
40.
That's what you're
Right.
saying.
So I will usually require, that's why I'm going to constantly ask where are we at on the EMF, because that's another piece of evidence. Even if you hear the word art and she has a spike, we might have something going on. It's going to be a conglomeration of 2 different things at once. So I'm going to work with the cameras for just a moment. You can hang out with us too, since your partner is staying with us. But I'm
Make
going
sure that when I'm walking through, no ghost enters over here, okay?
Okay, we got it.
No. Hey, no promises.
Oh, sorry. It's a quiet area. Those horses can hear us.
Sorry.
That's okay.
They're-
That's my
they
bad
go
for not
through
explaining.
you're fine.
a
There's
rough
no
time
glass
every
in those
day.
paintings. They can hear us. They will kick the walls and scare the shit out of all of us.
Oh.
So, cameras, stick with
Space.
me. I want the 2 of you to go work together, just kind of circumvent a little bit and kind of get used to listening to that guy and see if you find any spikes. If you get a spike, you both need to stop so she can listen in a little bit closer. All right, camera dudes, let me show you a few extra things. Yep. All right, so thermal imaging, you want to try to do 2 things for me when you're running that video. You want to try to keep the sky out, only because it's not a surface. It's not going to know what to measure. That blue dot's going to default to go up to the sky. But you want to try to keep a person in. Reason being is we're going to be the warmest thing out here. It gives you a bigger array of color.
Right.
So that way you can actually see what's actually going on a little bit better because there's an array of color. So just kind of keep in mind your lens for that is right where your fingers are. We're standing at it. So you can hold it like a normal cell phone. You're not going to hurt anything. It is a construction phone, so if it gets dropped, it's fine.
Got it.
It is well protected, and it's happened many, many times.
Got it.
What does your center crosshair say is the temperature right now on the ground?
68.
Do me a favor, stop the video by hitting the red square.
Okay.
There we go. I know it wasn't 66 degrees. So that's a little bit better.
Oh, yeah, now it's down to 54.
So we didn't lose anything because I'm just going to splice all that shit together. With certain spaces, again, with vehicles, you know, the routine, just be responsible. But you're in this particular space, why I like to come here for you is because you have foliage, you have cars, you have metal, you have asphalt. You can see all the different temperatures of stuff after the sun goes down.
Right.
You know, no matter the season. So just kind of play around with it. Again, somebody's going to their vehicle. You're just casually holding a cell phone.
Right.
So your camera.
Sorry about the horses. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
I had no idea they were there.
No. So your particular camera has 2 different lights working for it. This is what I call a long range. And don't use it because it just draws attention from other doors, and they already like to throw it in the water. This is the short term. So let's find out what's in there. We won't let you do it. way once I check the road.
Steph. He said we're gonna move down this way. Oh, I don't know. He just told me to grab y'all because we were gonna move further down.
What color are we?
Orange, red.
Huh?
Orange and red. He told me to make sure when I'm doing it that I keep like at least a person in the video and not to put the sky in the video.
All right. Any spikes out of you? No. Nothing significant?
Yeah, I didn't get anything out of the ordinary except for when I pointed it down that way. It kept the blue dot kept focusing on like the windows of the car.
Yeah, I got 4 orbs.
Yeah. He said he's got 4 orbs in the camera that I'll have to verify.
Yep.
I think we're right behind me.
Definitely.
All right, Angel, let's get us moving.
Right shoulder. Yep.
Change too.
Angel.
She's right behind you.
I can't see.
The problem with this is I feel like it's giving sentences. Like it's like commercials.
Maybe the listeners are just like certain particular
It's
words.
giving me like the.
And I'm getting
Like,
heavy static.
I'm picking up like the puddles and stuff on the ground. Car windows, like that sort of stuff is giving me like the really, like the cold spots so far. Should have got them sweats.
I should have. For jeans. Alright, that me too.
Y'all be out here in leggings like they pants.
Yeah, no.
Pays to be cute sometimes, you know?
All in this way. That's the only entrance and exit over here.
Help me.
Staying in basic.
All right. So, welcome to another beautiful spot of Charleston. Another parking lot. I know. I'm sorry. But this place used to be something, a big something. So this used to be home to Eliza and Charles Pinckney. So let's kind of go through this.
The road, of course.
The mansion sat in front. The Eliza's garden sat behind Five Church Restaurant and came all the way across, and we are standing where the servant and slave quarters would have been for the home. So I'd like to always give you the layout of the land as we are going to explore this, but I always like to give you the history first. Not under, no. We're going to talk about what kind of ghosts we're working with as well. So
I don't want to walk them.
Eliza and Charles had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 different Charleses. Do you guys see why I look for that secondary clue? I need to know who the hell we're talking to.
Yeah.
The son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. You don't have to hold that up, by the way. You can just
okay.
it's not recording anyway.
Okay.
So they were signers of the Constitution. I don't like politics. Y'all are on vacation. Let's move on to Eliza. She's way cooler anyway. Eliza married Charles at a young age. So for you Spirit Box folks, I'm not going to tell you what that number is. This is not going to be a questionnaire like what color was the big red barn or George Washington's white horse, right? So you're going to get your answers from your Spirit Boxes. Before we leave, whatever isn't answered, I will answer for you. All right, so where was I? Oh, she married Charles at a young age. According to today's standards, not the colonial times from where she came from. I will tell you that Charles was over double her age. So numbers in this place, there's a lot of them that can come around, and I get them
They
repeatedly.
pretty much bought down the lives.
So, with that, she married him because her father over in England thought he was dying. And he wanted to see all of his kids one last time. She didn't want to go. She didn't think he was dying yet. So, she got married, she put her foot down, and she stayed right here in the colonies. Now, her father didn't die right away, so she was right. Her father starts sending her gifts from England to this space that we're standing in. One of those gifts happened to be the plant indigo. A lot of us are wearing it tonight. Indigo is what makes our blue jeans blue.
Right.
That's how we use it today. So, once she figured it out of learning how to keep it cultivated, which she had to learn from her servants and slaves, by the way. This wasn't, like, obviously it's not warm here all the time. The Gullah slaves actually are agriculturists. They know how to keep stuff going. She learned from them, experimented with it here, moved the whole crop over to a plantation in Mount Pleasant, just north of here. Calls her dad and says, hey, the rice plantations are going to shit. Not really. Colonial times, English woman, she didn't say shit. But she says, but I need some contacts to be able to sell this stuff so we can make a killing with this indigo. Now we have a colonial businesswoman. That is unheard of. Those 3 words normally don't go together. Colonial businesswoman. So there's the basis of what she's done. Let's get into the weird shit, because that's why you guys are all here. Eliza was the second wife named Eliza from Charles, back to back, same year. First Eliza died, 6 months later he marries this one. Ironically, both of them have a maiden name, not a middle name, a maiden name that starts with the letter L. If you want to find out which one we're talking to, ask what the maiden name is. As far as the mansion, it's obviously not here anymore. You can ask what happened to it and then what year it happened. So you notice that these are very specific questions. Let's see, the children. I told you there was at least one. He was a signer of the Constitution. There are more, by the way. This is Eliza. There's more children. I'm going to kind of heated warning here. Do not poke the bear. Simple questions. How many kids did you have? What were their names? Leave it alone. There's a tragedy among those kids that if we poke the bear too much, we will not have any kind of readings whatsoever or any kind of spirit box activity. So, let's see. Eliza's death. You can ask anything you want to. She's pretty open. Eliza, when did you die? What did you die from? Where are you buried? And what U.S. president was a pallbearer at your funeral? Like, notice that these are all specific. Like, this is where I get the answers from. This is a big hotbed for me.
So we just talked to this.
Yep, talk like there's a person in front of you. It's not a walkie-talkie,
Eliza.
but
So does someone else talk and then I just say what's going with what I hear?
yeah. So I'm going to be bouncing around, checking in with all of you, writing notes down. So you kind of have to keep track. You have the hardest job out here, by the way. So, damn you.
With ADHD, this is gonna be great.
We're going to wait for this car to move on. And
I
then
don't
we're
know
gonna
if this
start.
means anything, but I keep seeing the numbers 12 and 16 in my head.
12
And 16.
Where are you buried? What did you die from?
What U.S. president?
What president was a
I want to know
pallbearer?
what she died for her first.
Well, then you can start asking that
And when
question.
she died.
We're going to be dealing with cars in here. We're not even going to go near the cars.
Oh, I know
So you
where
guys
it's
know. Did you see where I actually hit the record button on your camera?
I did, yes.
Okay, so go ahead and tap it. Let's get it started. What was that first phrase that you heard over at the other by Big John's?
I know I heard quarterback at one point. There was a
there's-
lot of
there was something
phrases.
before that.
I'm not gonna be able to remember that.
That quarterback, that means something.
Yeah. And again,
He was a football player, so.
But there's a
between
lot
all
of
the
phrases
notes-
that I keep hearing. Like instead of it being words, it's like actual phrases.
and that's why it's
And-
slowed down.
and
So
what's the name again?
you're also going to
Elisha?
keep Eliza with a Z.
Yeah.
With your particular spirit box, because it's so slowed down, for example, what color is the big red barn? Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer. I don't need Rudolph the nosed reindeer. I just need the word
Red.
red. It's going to pick up words before and after.
Well, something that I said to her had to do with colors. Do you remember that? I walked over there and it said something about colors, but it didn't say the color.
You repeated it, and then you said, all you need is love.
Yeah. Heart,
Yeah, all you need is love. That's I heard
heart,
that.
red.
But I didn't yet.
I heard that.
So, again, I try to keep copious notes. Have you gotten anything on there at
It
all?
was a one, like right over here, but just a one.
Okay, so in this space, I've seen it go as high as
Couch.
148. And again,
Couch.
Couch.
and again, I won't need to see every word.
Okay.
Again, because 80% of them are not going to mean anything.
Okay.
And again, I'll check in with you and be like, oh, look at that one in the middle that I
Well,
missed.
it changed that.
Yeah, I get it. With yours, again, she should be
Can you
following
hear me?
We can hear you.
No, I mean like that said, "Do you hear me?"
Oh,
Oh, wow.
well,
Okay.
wow. Let's start spreading out. Ask some questions. I'll be
Okay.
following up with each of you here in just a moment. I gotta check the guy's name.
He said spread out.
that particular camera,
Okay.
I don't capture something with it every night. I
Right.
capture about 4 to 5 pieces a year with that guy.
Right.
However, it is awesome to watch. It is great technology, and I love, like, that's usually the first piece I bring out. So I'm not going to, like, set high hopes for you. If you grab something, that would be amazing, because I'm always looking for that next piece of evidence to brag
Right.
about. But again, I would not be like, oh my God, I'm going to capture ghosts with this all night long. It's not one of those pieces, but if we're not recording, we don't find stuff.
Right, no, I understand. I'm looking. Most of the spots I've been seeing are like typical cold spots, so
Yep.
like the cars, the back of the sign over there, it's getting like any of the little puddles and stuff on the ground, it's been picking up.
I've caught 2 people literally, like, black. I had somebody in view, so I had that range of color, so the live person was white and orange, and then I had 2 black spirits walking past the wall.
Oh, that's crazy.
It is crazy shit.
Yeah,
On our
I've never
Facebook
actually
page, we
used,
actually do.
I use like the Phasma box, and we use like
Oh, I get
a
it.
couple other like things like normal EMF. We did like dowsing rods, and we used like crystals and
Yeah.
some other stuff. But I've actually never used this before.
The reason why I like to use all the tech is because it's tangible. I can hand it back to you the next day
Right.
with the data. Like, that's the big thing, is I love giving you guys the data back. Not
Yeah,
to
'cause
mention,
we did 2 places in Alton, Illinois, because we live in St. Louis, so Alton's not too far. And then we went to the Missouri State Penitentiary, and we did all overnight. So we got
Nice.
there like 8 p.m. and we're there till like 6 a.m. in the morning. They did like a tour, and then they gave us like 3-4 hours of free roam. We rented
Nice.
equipment and just got to walk around and see what we could find.
nice.
But this is the first time we've done something that's like on this level, so this is actually kind of cool.
Okay. Well, there's more gear in the bag. I just like to focus on the recordable stuff. I got
Oh,
laser
yeah, this is
lights
cool.
and other types of spirit boxes and that kind of stuff. I try to make, and I get kids on the tour. I get elderly on the tour. So I got to keep, like, where's my simple tools? Where's my more complicated stuff?
Right,
I
right.
kind of balance everything out. That's why I meet with you guys early, so I can kind of get a feel for the group before we even get started. You guys are definitely a lively bunch.
Oh yeah, this is awesome. And she picks up a lot. Like she gets like a lot of vibes and a lot of like we did the tour. We went to earlier today. It was where we did a tour of like a dungeon somewhere like not too far from here.
Yeah, the
It was-
jail.
Yeah, we saw like the copy of the Declaration of Independence.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff
That's
in
at the
there.
old exchange.
Yeah, and then we went down in there, and the second we walked into the basement, she said she started getting like really heavy feelings in her head. and, like,
On my
you know.
podcast, I did an episode on that place and my investigation there. You guys should listen to it. So you have the podcast that's at the top of your data page.
Got it,
I
got
want
it,
to see her
okay.
word list. I'll check that
Okay.
out in a minute. So in relation to the readings of this book, in relation to this, is like behind your television set where all the wires are and whatnot, it usually ranges from like 4 to 6 volts. Your microwave running on high, you're standing next to it with this guy, your door shut, it's going to give up. So that's the line. Because there's nothing underneath us to make that thing come off. That's why I like coming here, because we do get some great insights.
Microwave sites.
Yeah, there's no wiring underneath us to know anything. This is
Nature.
okay.
It's history.
Yeah, ghosts.
Yeah, ghosts, yeah. Off-road.
That was an actual
Lightly.
little.
Lightly.
He's also recording right now.
Northeast.
So I take agents with me. Do you guys keep this in mind? It says northeast.
21 years? Is that anything? 21 years?
Close, but no. I'm gonna take you over. I'm gonna take you over to that corner.
Okay.
Like these
No,
guys.
no, it says more.
Northeast. Why is north in there? Northeast. Yeah. There.
It's not exactly right. Oops, let's see here.
Probably.
How you doing, Miss Lady? Oh, watch out, babe. Probably picking up this fucking phone. You okay? Hmm?
Alright, let's get you guys some answers. Are you getting any more spikes over there, Stephanie? Oh, mesh. Okay.
Warm coat. Come here.
You're trying to warm. This is Lodge ABBN. So, this is when we crossed that last crosswalk, they sent a couple of strangers. You guys want to know that? We were walking through where the original Charlestown Wells used to be. You're walking on one of the first streets there's ever in right now. So people used to live here. That's why I was asking for names to keep. I am going to look up Leo just to kind of see. However, I'm not positive that it's on there. So people that lived here were actually considered lower class. It makes complete sense because across the street would have been the other side of the wall. That wall would have allowed the sun to go high. So the richer people of Charleston, which this was a rich city, they would you know, any kind of snow would go high when we talk about other things. So the names, I have a few list of residents of every person that I keep on. So the name I normally get are Benjamin John. Benjamin John goes up to the ATO. I don't have any other significant thing other than I get the same names over and over and over again every 6 to 7 weeks. Right now we're on like the 7th week, so we're on that 7th week, so it's a possibility that it might pop up on your spirit box. Now, when I see people click down there, it wasn't a whole lot. It was only two to 5 people at a time. So with that said, your camera's on the wrong side. You
Oh.
can stop it and push it. Good job.
The center stone's newer than the horse. No, okay.
What?
Drink.
So the water.
There's a.
Are said to hold on to the consciousness of memories. That's why this is a residual happening that goes on here. So again, I will be listening very closely and watching the word list for anything that comes up out of this area. This place is called Lodge Alley because the Freemasons once had a Masonic lodge here. That's why it's called Lodge Alley. We do get terms wrapped around the Freemasons as well. It's vague. It's words like Freemason, Mason, Illuminati. Like these kind of things do pop up. It's not often, but when we do have a name that that's on there. I will give you a link that'll show you the full list of residents of everybody that ever lived here, so that way you can listen for more for yourself. Again, very interesting space. The hotel behind me, this is Lodge Alley Inn. Every hotel in Charleston has a claim of a ghost. This summer, the wife and I are actually going to be doing a round robin and doing investigations and then posting them on the podcast, whether they're legit or not. So we will rent the rooms, we'll pay for them just like normal, but we're going to be running investigations through the rooms. So we'll kind of see what goes on. I don't know if I'll be able to get into Lodge Alley because it is what's the word I'm looking for? Timeshare. It's a blue green. So I don't know if they're going to allow me to do here or not. But the next space we're going to is another alley. We're going to be cutting through a neighborhood, so we're still going to be remaining quiet. But again, I'm literally taking you on the edge of where we're allowed to go. Because the neighborhood, once we get out, we're going to stop your videos. So when you're going to stop yours once we exit, and until we get to the next space. You can keep it running until we leave. We definitely want to get some footage while it's still going good, which is it's operating fine now. But the board bloodletting, no, nothing that I can find of significance here. Again, I don't have major happenings here. It's just a great space because, again, this is one of the very first streets we ever had. It's big.
Different.
It's definitely vague. But we're going to talk about the
That's the
Charlestown
smell.
walls and the walls.
The smell. Oh my goodness.
Does it say smell?
It does say smell.
We just talked about the
We
smell.
did from there. Oh my goodness.
Been going up to like.
So we are still close. Like Magnolia is just reopened, so we are going to get a little bit. I would expect like 4 to 6 from the restaurant. Nothing higher than that because it's pretty walls are pretty thick. But 8 might be something significant. I'll definitely bring it down. Like I said, a pattern. Interesting. So definitely. Alright, so let's head to now the next app, I can't take you through. I've been kicked out. However, I tell the story outside of it because we still get enough evidence and it is going to show up for sure. We have a lot of alleys here, so let's go take a look at this next alley again. Before you start video, stop it. You can keep listening. It's up to you. This is your tour.
I didn't know like hard. Okay.
Tours come by, just be kind of casual with your cameras if you would. Now we're getting into the more touristy areas. So let's talk about a specific duel just because it actually occurred and we can actually prove it. So there's a doctor that moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. He moves down here because his fiancee Amanda, well, I wouldn't have been Amanda, not 1700s. There's going to be some folks coming quickly, so just kind of be casual. Now, he moves down here because his fiancée Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. She's an attorney helping her out with all of that money. The attorney thinks that the doctor is just after Amanda's cash. Boxes plenty of times. However, a secondary clue is needed. It's 2 different characters of the story. One going to Ralph, the other one going to the doctor. So, anyway, Ralph says, hey man, you don't want to stay here. This guy's going to try to kill you. There's somebody inside with a gun. I got somewhere you can stay. He takes him to 59 Church Street. He has some friends there that the doctor can rent a room from, and the doctor and Ralph become friends. However, the doctor starts making a whole lot more money with his new practice. He becomes known as the whistling doctor because he whistled all the time because he's a jovial character. Every haunted city has a whistler, no matter where you go. I guarantee it. Ours is a doctor. However, him and Ralph go see plays, but they can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes so much more money than him. So they talk about these plays on the way home. One night, they're talking about William III. They're talking about William III, a Shakespearean play. The doctor loves the new actress that's in town. Ralph does not. So they start arguing, and then Ralph starts insulting the doctor's fiance back home in Rhode Island. Gets pretty heated, and they go their separate ways. Ralph is from here. He goes to his friends at the newspaper, places an ad telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Wasn't very pleasant words. So, with that being said, the doctor sees the ad, and he says, let's go down to Dueler's Alley, and we're going to finish this. So they come down, and they take their 20 paces. I see. They come down and take their 20 paces. They turn. The doctor points his gun in the air, and he shoots. He did not want to kill his friend. He just wanted the courage and bravery to show up for the fight, which is often what happened during a duel during this time frame. However, Ralph has his one shot, and he puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. So the doctor didn't die. He is carried home by his friends, where he dies 10 days later after refusing medical treatment.
Septic. Right?
Man, who knows?
Probably.
He was a doctor. He refused medical treatment. He probably tried to cure himself
out-of-state doctor.
by bloodletting. That's good.
I was on here.
And that's when we were crossing it down on East Bay Street. This is the street we were crossing.
Oh my goodness.
So, you heard out-of-state doctor?
But it was B in doubt.
No, the bloodletting was
I
prior.
know that's
Yeah.
B in doubt.
Awesome.
And they always spike on here. When
Zoe. Does Zoe mean anything? ZOE?
Yes. We're going to talk about her at the next
I just
corner.
heard I'd be free if I got away. Like just
It always spikes and gets red on the top of it when it's
Yeah,
there.
that's just part of the aesthetic. Now, they say if you walk through this alley, you can hear the whistles from the doctor. It is always this quiet. It's 3 blocks away from East Bay Street. Now, when I used to take my tours down there, it was all about the voice recorder. See, because it's not going to be, and everybody that knows the story here in town, we all throw a whistle down the alley, so it's very easy to kind of debunk some of the that's coming through. It's going to be a very
wasn't
faint whistle.
great. The Wolf of Wall Street. Like maybe somebody that has money.
Neither one of them really had a whole lot of money. I mean, the doctor was making better money, but
This says anti.
they also say you can hear gunshots. I just don't have any record of gunshots down that alley. So, you guys actually have a lot going on. I love the out-of-state doctor that's going on over here. The name Zoe is very relevant to Charleston in general. And again, you don't have to show me every word. So I'll come back with
You'll
Yeah.
get it.
Right. And I'll come to you when I say, hey, let me take a look at this list. So, this past summer, I brought my group back here, full group, probably 8 or 9 people, and the young man next to me goes,
Market.
white as a ghost. We're next to Market Street. He goes white as a ghost, and I catch him with underneath the armpit, and his boyfriend picks him up from the other side. We take him over to that wall to sit down because there's a little ledge. I go send the boyfriend over to get a bottle of water. He starts feeling better. I then tell the story of Anne Bonny, the same one I just told you. I send everybody out to go have fun with their devices and gadgets, and they pull me aside and say, Nick, we need to tell you something. Like, what is that? Like, we are 2 transgender males. I had 2 females dressed as non-binary. So I had to look it up too. So kind of like, I'm not real hip to all of the different lingo. So when they told me that, and I was like, you gotta be kidding. And they're like, yeah, it makes complete sense of why as soon as I entered this space, I started to drop. So take that for what it's worth. Everything is relevant here. The thermal imaging camera does love to act up in here. And Stephanie, as far as your device, I already told you, like near the bushes, you will get spikes, so don't get excited. Also near the lamp post in the center. So you're gonna have electrical lines underneath it. You already know what you're doing. She's on top of things. You can definitely get some recordings here. As far as the front of the powder magazine, you can go up there if you want to. With the car being parked where I normally go, we will end up back here. So I'm just going to hang out behind these apartments. 23. It's another good reading. That 40, man. That's high for here. Like, we don't normally get back here.
Keep it messy.
Wow.
All right.
Keep it messy. Nice.
They're gonna take you away.
Love it. So let's spread out a little bit. Go ahead and get your video recording. Hit that button. Yep, that's it. It's recording. Yep. No, it's not blinking.
That's going.
Hail Mary. Oh, Mary.
It's go crazy.
Yeah, I tried around the outside, so it's Mary. I said Hail Mary, so I don't know if it's like
Yeah, that's a new phone. We just had to upgrade it.
mother.
Nothing on her.
like I just told him, if you want to go to the front of the building to get some footage up there, you can. The only thing I ask is you do not get in the way of other tours.
Got it.
I don't have many friends in this industry.
Right, no, I understand.
But the front of the building is cool. They actually used to conduct,
So I just go out this way.
yeah, you would go out there and just make a left. But a lot of tours like to stop there. So if you see a tour there, just like don't even bother because he's going to be there for like 5 minutes.
Got it. I'll check it out and see if there's anybody out there right now. Mm.